Hello, loved ones. This is Matt Stevens, and I hope you're doing super fantastic as always. And I've actually been working on something that I really want to present to you guys. I mean, I've got it all almost laid all the way out, got quotes and everything. It's going to be fun. But I was recently listening to one of my podcasts that I enjoy, Third Eye Drops with Michael Phillip. And he has Chris Ramsey on as his latest guest as of the recording of this. And Chris Ramsey is the guy from Area 52 YouTube channel. Very well researched, very well produced things on his channel. And he's they've got very good insight. Let's put it that way. And they're talking about how in this, just in the first couple of minutes, of course, I've listened to the whole thing, and it's a good talk if you're into that. But they're more talking about UFO disclosure and things like that, and that's all a part of this whole coming to a head stuff that I refer to. And in it, Chris Ramsey mentioned Terrence McKenna, and then where they were just kind of riffing back and forth, I suppose, about how everything they mentioned it's a critical mass happening with regards to everything, social media to politics. I mean, we could definitely admit that politics is definitely coming to a head, some kind of breaking point. And it doesn't matter which side of the left, right, or otherwise that you fall on. I mean, it's coming down to the critical mass thing, and I always like to give credit where it's due. And Michael Phillip, the host of Third Eye Drops, he said it feels like the boundaries are being stress tested. And I'm like, wow, that is a very good way of putting it, that the boundaries of everything are being stress tested. And this UFO disclosure thing is just another part of it, really. All of it is just so much is just coming out. So much is coming to a head. Meanwhile, a lot of people are having their awakenings. A lot of people are awakening at, more people are and at a much greater rate. But in the other side of the pendulum swing is the opposite effect, where more people are falling deeper into their slumber. More people are falling deeper into the into the feedback loops that go on in this realm. They are falling deeper into those negative feedback loops, with regard to the politics and just everything that's going on in the world. They are hook, line, and sinker, bid onto it, never going to let go, and unfortunately it appears as though that's where a lot of humanity are going. But another, I mentioned the Terrence McKenna, how Chris Ramsey was talking about him, and he said we got front row tickets, courtside to the end of the world, and then he said it's kind of neat, and it is. I mean, if we are truly awakened, if we're truly connected to Source, we're truly connected to God or universal consciousness, whatever you want to call it. If you're truly there, then this is not scary, right? I mean, there are lots of reasons to believe that a reset event is not necessarily in the immediate future, but that it is, as I say, ramping up to some kind of climax, something has to break. There has to be a breaking point at some point, because things cannot continue as they are. And with regards, and I don't talk about UFOs much. I am interested in it. I think it's a fun topic, but I don't believe they're from outer space. I just don't. From other planets or whatever. Interdimensional is probably more accurate, in my humble opinion, dear loved one. And by the way, if you haven't hit the like button yet, please go ahead and do that. I would really appreciate it. And if you have not yet subscribed, please do that. And because if you don't, then you might miss me doing my big. I'm actually starting to research more for the purpose of presenting things to you, dear loved one. I mean, I do research a lot. Like just today, I'm using anyway, it doesn't matter what I'm using for a bookmark. I've been reading in New Lands by Charles Fort. It's interesting, a little different than his other books, Still reading in New Science of Heaven, still reading in The Light of Egypt, and the thing that I've mostly been researching to create a presentation for you is from the Light of Egypt, and it's very pertinent, I guess, very relevant to the times, in that we do connect to Source, and we are awakening, and we are becoming more aware of our true nature. Meaning our true nature, that we are the divine spark from the Creator, that it is awakening within us, and we are awakening to the true nature of this reality. And what our purpose here is, right? As I've said many times before, we came into this, I got to believe, willingly and even enthusiastically, as I've said many times. And because it's such a diverse and rich environment to just grow and learn from, because we know that where we come from, we are immortal beings, and so therefore we come into this to experience mortality and polarity and just all the diversity of life and just experiences as a whole. And but when I say we, I mean humanity as a whole, the human collective. We lost our way. We got blinded by the materialism. We got blinded by this material realm. And I would like to say it's because it's so great. And it is, dear loved one, if we choose to see it that way. But the vast majority of the human collective have fallen into those negative feedback loops, and they're feeding into all the negativity, all the war and the pandemics and just all of the things that are going on. They are going down in levels. They're getting more and more further away from Source, more and more further away from universal consciousness. They're falling into those the negativity. But I mean, we're all on our own path, and we're all going to return to the Source. It's just that's where those particular individual units of consciousness are in their journey, and that's fine. I mean, I got to believe we've all been there. It's just that this is an exciting time for it to be alive if you are awakening and looking around and saying, wow, this is nuts. And as Chris Ramsey mentioned when he was talking about Terrence McKenna, we have front row tickets to the end of the world. Now, I'm not going to say it's necessarily the end of the world, not in the immediate future. Could be. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. But in either case, isn't it wonderful that we're not fearful? There's really nothing to be afraid of. I mean, I know that this avatar, this body, I am jacked into it, having an experience. My personality does come through in this, but I know that if something happens here and all this just stops, that's okay. I mean, I'm going to be fine. We're going to be fine. We're going to be jacked out of here and reflecting on this experience that we had here. And it's going to be, it's amazing. However, if somebody's on the other end of that pendulum swing, it's probably a scary time to be alive, because if you're looking at the state of things and realizing, things can't continue like this, something's got to happen. There has to be some breaking point somewhere. That would be a very scary place to be. Thankfully, we're not there. That's, I would love to wake more people up, and maybe we can inspire some people to wake up. That would be great. But it's just, that's how it goes, right, dear loved one? So anyway, I was listening to that, and I just thought I'm like, well, okay, so these two guys are a lot more mainstream, and even they're saying that as Michael Phillips said, the boundaries are being stress tested. And it's like, how far can it be pushed? It's like, well, it can't be pushed. There is a breaking point. That's all. That's all, dear loved one. So I'm going to keep this one rather short, but I just wanted to share that with you because it is exciting. Even when we look at the world and think, God, it's getting pretty rough out there. It is. It is. However, when we realize I am an individual unit of consciousness. I am divine spark. It doesn't matter. I mean, I guess it does matter in fact, in the sense that it's affecting those that we love and things like that. Yes, I understand. However, I just want to encourage you, don't be fearful. And I kind of got a feeling that you're not, and that's great. I just want to encourage you and be like, isn't it kind of neat? As Chris Ramsey said, it's kind of neat. But there's that. So anyway, dear loved ones, that's what I got. I've got a one coming up. Like I said, I've been researching, mostly looking into Thomas Burgoyne and the Light of Egypt, very hermetic stuff. However, I'm kind of weaving in some Gnostic philosophy in there too. So there's that. But anyway, that's what I got for you, dear loved ones. I love you. I truly do. And I will be back directly.